Thinking of exiting your business or taking on a private equity partner to help you grow faster? BizNexus has you covered. Tap into our network of thousands of best-fit investors, acquirers, and proven M&A advisors, and we'll help you begin the relationship confidentially on your terms, your timeline. Learn more at biznexus.com.
Disclaimer from the always present legal team. Podcast conversations don't necessarily reflect the views of BizNexus Incorporated. Everything you hear is informational news and updates from around the industry. We're not recommending any investments. We're not offering any investment advice. Be sure to do your own homework.
All right, diving in today, folks, we're looking at, a pretty key player in the business world, especially for those of you keeping an eye on the lower middle market, the M&A Manager. And we've got some really interesting insights, actually, coming straight from graphitepartners.com.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so they actually, they talk to their clients, the companies that are out there hiring and working with these M&A managers.
Yeah.
To get a sense of what really makes them tick, what makes them successful.
I like that approach, going straight to the source.
Exactly.
What do you have to say?
Well, the article really emphasizes this idea that, in companies that are really actively growing through acquisitions, and we see a lot of that in the lower middle market, right?
Yeah.
The M&A managers, they're not just there to kind of push papers.
Right.
They're absolutely essential to making the deal happen, but also, and this is key, to making sure that deal actually adds value down the line, that integration is smooth.
Makes sense. Getting the deal done is just the first step, right? Yeah. Totally. So the article, it poses this question, and this is what we're really going to unpack today. What separates the good M&A managers from the truly exceptional ones, especially in the fast-paced world of the lower middle market?
Right. I'm ready to unpack. Lay it on me.
Okay, so first up, and this one's pretty obvious, negotiation. You got to be good at that.
Oh, absolutely. That's fundamental. You need to negotiate price, terms, the whole 9 yards. But, and this is where things get interesting, especially in the lower middle market. You're often dealing with founders, business owners who have poured their heart and soul into these companies. It's not just a transaction for them, it's personal.
Oh, I bet. Way more than just numbers on a spreadsheet.
Right. So a truly exceptional M&A manager, they get that. They see the human side of the deal. They balance the risk, the value, the structure, of course. But they also, and this is key, they know how to navigate those emotions, those personal stakes, to create an outcome that actually benefits everyone involved.
So it's almost like you need a bit of a therapist touch in there, too. Well, maybe not a therapist, but definitely a deep understanding of people. And, it's not just the seller either. You've got a whole bunch of stakeholders to juggle.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's not just a two-way street. So stakeholder management, that's the next big skill.
Big time, especially in the lower middle market. You've got your private equity investors. They're looking for returns, naturally. You've got the leadership team, which might include those founders we just talked about. And then you've got the operational divisions, the folks on the ground who are actually going to have to integrate this new company.
A lot of moving pieces.
A lot of personalities, a lot of agendas. A great M&A manager, they can bring all those people together, make sure everyone's on the same page, working towards the same goal. It's like, I don't know, conducting an orchestra or something.
And probably keeping some egos in check along the way.
It's possible. But hey, you can't let all that distract you from the numbers, right? You got to be analytical, too.
True. So that's skill number 3, analytical skills.
Can't live without them, especially when things move as fast as they do in the lower middle market. You're evaluating opportunities. Sometimes these are smaller companies. Maybe their reporting isn't as robust.
Right, less information to go on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You got to dig deep, identify the risks, the potential problems, and you got to do it quickly. Make decisions under pressure. Sharp analytical mind. Problem-solving skills. That's a must-have.
Seeing the big picture even when the details are blurry.
Exactly. And then you need to take action. You need to rally the troops, which brings us to leadership.
So it's not enough to be a lone wolf with a calculator.
Not at all. The really exceptional M&A managers, they're leaders. They can build and inspire teams, and they know how to coordinate all those different functions: finance, legal, HR, operations. They set the vision, and they make sure everyone is moving in the same direction, rowing the boat together, so to speak.
And rowing in the same direction, keeping things on schedule. That's where project management comes in, right?
Absolutely. The article even calls out specific certifications like Prince 2, PMP, stuff like that. That tells you they're serious about a structured approach.
Makes sense. You got to wrangle all those moving parts.
Especially in the lower middle market, resources can be tight, deadlines are tight. You can't afford to be disorganized.
Right. And speaking of not being able to afford things, let's talk due diligence. Finding those potential problems early, that's got to be worth its weight in gold.
Oh, due diligence is huge. Couldn't agree more. And it's even more critical in the lower middle market. Remember, sometimes information's harder to come by.
Right, less transparency.
So a really good M&A manager, they have a nose for risk. They can dig deep. They can analyze the financials. They can spot the red flags that others might miss. And that can save everyone a whole lot of trouble down the road.
So it sounds like it's not just about the big picture. It's also about the nitty-gritty details. Attention to detail, that must be up there too, right?
Couldn't agree more. From the very first time you look at a target company, all the way through to the sometimes messy business of integrating them, you've got to be detail-oriented every step of the way.
No room for sloppiness.
Especially when you're dealing with, smaller teams. Maybe things aren't as systematized. Precision, efficiency, those are key.
And then there's this last one that I found really interesting. The article talks about having an entrepreneurial mindset.
Yeah.
Now, how does that apply to an M&A manager?
That's what's so fascinating. The really great M&A managers, they don't just see a deal. They see a business. They see how this acquisition is going to play out in the long run, how it's going to fuel growth, create value, almost as if it were their own company.
So they're thinking like a CEO, not just a deal maker.
Exactly. They're looking beyond the immediate financials. They're thinking strategically. And that, especially in the lower middle market, that long-term vision, that's what separates the good from the great.
It's worth pointing out, too, that the folks over at graphitepartners.com, they've actually got a contact listed in the article, a guy named Corin Tweed, specifically for anyone interested in, M&A manager and corporate development opportunities.
Oh, interesting. So they're putting their money where their mouth is, huh?
Definitely seems that way.
Yeah.
Shows you the demand is there, especially for folks who could really navigate the complexities of the lower middle market.
No doubt.
So to sum it all up, folks, whether you're knee-deep in the world of M&A or just sort of watching from the sidelines, these insights that we've gleaned from graphitepartners.com and their clients, they paint a pretty clear picture, don't they?
Yeah.
You need that sharp deal-making ability, absolutely. But you also need those people skills, the analytical chops, the ability to think strategically, and do it all with an eye on long-term value creation.
It's a pretty potent combination. Makes you wonder, of all those skills, all those qualities, which one is really the most underrated, the one that often gets overlooked? What do you think?
That's a good question. It's probably, I'd say it's the ability to really understand the people you're dealing with, especially those founders.
Oh, yeah.
They're not just selling a business, they're letting go of a piece of themselves. Being able to connect with that, to see the human side of the deal, I think that's what makes all the difference.
Couldn't agree more. It's that human element that often drives the most successful outcomes. Something to think about.
Food for thought, for sure. All right, well, on that note, we'll wrap things up here. Thanks for tuning in to The Deep Dive, everyone.
Always a pleasure.
And we'll catch you next time.
Acquiring a business? BizNexus simplifies it. Access thousands of updated opportunities in our DIY marketplace or supercharge team sourcing with OmniSource, your all-in-one platform for on-market, off-market, and coming-soon deals. Scale smarter today. Learn more or book a demo at www.biznexus.com.